Hello, everyone. Paul Dragoo here with the New American. I am here with Representative Bryan Slaton. And Representative, I hear you're running this November for House District 2. How are your chances looking?
Oh, looking good. I mean, I'm finishing my first term, and we have no Democrat opponent. We got through the primary, winning 83%, and have no Democrats. So looking good.
So, Representative, you're drafting here. You're working on a bill that was inspired by this event that made national news with children being dragged to a drag show. Can you tell us about that and what you're hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, so we're actually looking at 3 or 4 different ways to do this because it's just inappropriate for children to be in front of drag. I mean, I haven't had anyone say it's appropriate for children to be in front of strippers and putting dollar bills in their underwear. And this was grown men dancing around in women's underwear, and children were putting money in there. I mean, it's just totally inappropriate for children. We have sexually oriented businesses for adults only. And this is where children work, very young children. Some of them, 10 years old, younger. One child was probably 2 or 3 years old, sitting on their parents' lap. And my thing is, what benefit is that to a child's development when we want children to maintain their innocence. We want children to be on guard from adults that would want to harm them. And here we have an event that's kind of like a grooming event where these kids are having their guard let down that say, it's okay for an adult man to be in his underwear dancing this way and asking me to touch him, put his money in my underwear. We don't want kids to think that's okay and appropriate, because when that kid's away from that event, if they were to be alone with an adult, 2 months from now, we don't want that kid thinking it's not a problem when parents or adults or whoever is taking advantage of them sexually. And, it just doesn't seem appropriate in their development at all.
What would some of the provisions of this bill include?
Well, we don't know. Like I said, we're working on 3 or 4 different ways. We have sexually oriented businesses. We have, in Texas, strippers have to have a license. Well, maybe possibly drag queens have to have a license for their shows, which that would keep kids away. Maybe we just put it in law that you can't do things like this and vulgar things in front of children. You can't dance that certain way. I mean, we're trying to work on it because no one does this with strippers. Like women dancing in their underwear in front of young boys. I mean, no one thinks this is okay. And we've managed to go all this time without that being controversial and without having to worry about kids being sexualized in that way. So now we're just trying to find out the most appropriate way. We're still looking. We've been getting a lot of feedback from people. And so we're just kind of trying to figure out what is the best way to do it, because we're not trying to end drag, period. Yeah. We're just saying stop doing it around children.
Right.
That's all.
Have you heard from your constituents? Was that part of the inspiration, or did you see it like many on the news and you're like, I have to do something? How did this come about?
It was a mixture. I had people going, can you believe this, right? I had a lot of people sending me things. And then once I came out with the press release, I mean, it was really some good response. There's some people upset because they thought we were trying to end drag for everyone, which is not at all what we're trying to do. But we had some people, they called and said, hey, I'm a homosexual man from Dallas, and I'm just telling you, drag should not be around kids. And we appreciate you doing it. So we've had a lot of support from people because it's just decency. Yeah. You shouldn't do this in front of children.
It's weird that we have to point this out these days.
Well, it just shows you where we are as a society. And people ask, why is it this way? And my first thing is to blame our churches, pastors. We don't have leadership behind the pulpit. They never take a stand on very much. And so here we are. Everything just keeps creeping further and further, and getting further away from what you call traditional family values.
Right. Have you received any pushback, or are you getting any pressure from some of these insane advocacy groups who may or may not be behind this, or at least clearly advocate for this insanity?
Well, some have, they've been upset, but I mean, I'm like I say, not trying to end it for all, but if you are taking the position that you think it's a wonderful thing for adult men to be in women's underwear in front of children and having them touch them, putting dollar bills in their underwear and all this stuff, we're just going to have to disagree. Okay? It's not appropriate. And then you look at just what drag does, right? I mean, drag, they take qualities in women that I would think most people in the woke society would have a problem with. They just focus on the sexual aspects of a woman. Then they just focus on that materialistic, the makeup, the hair, the dress, and they leave all the other qualities out from a woman. And for some reason, that's okay, right? I don't understand how they get away with pushing that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, there's been some pushback, but I expect NAMBLA to be against me. North American Man-Boy Love Association, been around 20, 30 years, been trying to normalize relationships between adult men and young boys. Of course, they're upset, but sometimes it's good to have certain enemies, right?
Yeah. So you ready for the fight then, huh?
Well, we have to. I mean, how else are we going to protect kids by doing nothing?
What are the prospects for this thing? You think it'll go through?
I don't know. I really don't. My thing is that we have to do the right thing as men, as Christian men. You do the right thing, and you don't do the right thing only when you know you're going to win.
Right.
That's not what I want to teach my children. I want them to know they stand up for the right thing no matter what.
Well, Representative, thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.